Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. Do not forget that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan83. Additionally, you can find me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. And, of course, the Full Court Press is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. 32 teams, 32 days in the NFL. The focus today, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A team that honestly over the last few seasons has been hit and miss, has not been very good. Jameis Winston has been a conundrum at quarterback his first couple of years in the NFL, 4,000 yards plus. His third year eclipsed over 3,000. Last year, of course, injured, but didn't quite get to 3,000. But I think for me, the biggest thing is because if you listen to me, you know I'm not really a huge stats guy. But for me, the biggest one is his overall record, and that is 21-33 in his career. I've always said that it takes 4 or 5 years to learn how to be a quarterback in the NFL. And Jameis Winston is entering his 5th year. And I think that he, like Andy Dalton and a couple of others in this league, they're looking at him and going, this is kind of it for you. You have a phenomenal offensive mind in Bruce Arians, who's going to be your head coach. You have Byron Leftwich, a guy who was a quarterback with the Jacksonville Jaguars, had a couple of good seasons there under Jack Del Rio as his head coach, remember? A very defensive-minded football team, but they won a lot of games that they really shouldn't have won, and Leftwich had a couple of decent seasons. You got Mike Evans as one of your wideouts. I mean, this is the type of year that you look at with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you go, they could maybe win 7 games if Jameis Winston doesn't show up, or they could win 11 games if Jameis Winston does show up and be the quarterback that we all kind of saw his rookie and sophomore seasons. He's got a fairly good team around him. Now, Bruce Arians, to be fair, has not shined necessarily as a head coach yet. Everybody loved him as an OC, said that he had waited a long way past his due to get an opportunity to be a head coach, right? He was with the Arizona Cardinals. Couldn't get the job done over there for any number of reasons that you could point out if you want to. But mainly, when all is said and done, the head coach's job is to coach. I think this is going to be it right here for Jameis Winston. If they win 10 or 11 games, I think he saves his job. Provided, obviously, that he's healthy all season. And then, of course, also provided that all the things that have happened off the field don't interfere. I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to let you make your own judgment on that. That's not this show. I stay out of those things. From strictly a football standpoint, Jameis Winston will show you flashes of brilliance one game, and then in the next, you will see nothing. To be fair, he doesn't have the greatest offensive line in the NFL over the last couple of seasons, but also he's made some throws where, in some games where he's living on the edge, the throws are kind of working in his favor, and then he just takes too many chances, and it ends up coming back to bite him. And as far as their defensive scheme or whatever you want to call it goes, look, the offseason saw them decide to go ahead and move Gerald McCoy around. That was one of the huge offseason moves. In fact, it was probably the offseason move, aside from being the first NFL franchise to ever hire lady assistant coaches, right, which I think is awesome. I think it's tremendous. But outside of that, moving around Gerald McCoy and adding Ndamukong Suh is high risk, high reward to me. As much as I love Ndamukong Suh and as much as I've rooted for him in this league and as much as I've said that not everything that happens is really within the correct context in terms of people, how they view him, I would honestly right now in this stage take Gerald McCoy over Ndamukong Suh. Then, of course, they've got the legacy of Vinny Testaverde. They've got Vincent Testaverde, right, his son, trying to get a roster spot. Look, the NFC South, every single year, I think we anticipate the New Orleans Saints as being the team, right? But then again, hit and miss with the Carolina Panthers, hit and miss with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, hit and miss with the Atlanta Falcons. What type of season is it going to be for the rest of these three teams? And even the New Orleans Saints. Remember, they lost a huge piece of the puzzle in Mark Ingram. I know people are going to still say that they've got Alvin Kamara, and that's fine. I'm not going to go against that. I'm never going to go against Drew Brees, one of my favorite quarterbacks ever to watch in the NFL. But I will say this. I still think that for the most part, the NFC South, at the bare minimum, that second place spot is going to be wide open. And I think it is going to take 10 or 11 wins in order to guarantee you a playoff spot. Because we don't know what we're going to get out of the Carolina Panthers. And we don't know what we're going to get out of the Atlanta Falcons. Sure, we may see high-octane offenses from all these teams, but is anybody going to play some solid enough defense to help keep you competitive and get you to the next level? Are we going to see great coaching adjustments in-game that'll take you to the next level and propel you to wins in those games? Some of the other games that I'm looking at that are going to be notable for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year, they're going to be outside of their division, is when they go to L.A. to face the Rams. They're going to be in Nashville to take on the Titans. They're going to be in Seattle also, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, November 10th, a date that I'm sure Bruce Arians may have circled, and that is against the Arizona Cardinals. Look, if Jameis Winston doesn't add up this year, and if that defense doesn't hold teams to, let's say, at least 17 points, 20 points a game, they're going to win 6 or 7 games, and that's going to be all there is to it. But if Jameis Winston truly takes control of this offense and really allows Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich to really coach him and take him where he wants to go, even if they have just barely a top 15 defense in the NFL, they will win 11 games this year. The Seattle Seahawks still have a pretty good defense. That's going to be a good test for them. The Rams have a really good defense. That's going to be a huge test for them offensively. The Tennessee Titans are a fairly balanced football team, and regardless of how their season may turn out, I think it's still going to be a pretty good test to play against them. So we'll see. I'm actually excited to see what's going to happen with Tampa Bay this year. I really am. I kind of love the idea of the unknown. I really do. Guys, I am Drew Duncan, host of the Full Court Press. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan83. Additionally, you can find me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. Of course, the Full Court Press is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And as always, don't you dare touch that dial.